Hello everyone, welcome back to YK Reviews. For today's video, we're going to be discussing Scream, doing the reviews from Scream 1 to Scream 5 as we're leading up to Scream 6 coming out this Friday. So let's get into it here. Now with Scream 6 coming out this week, I'm super pumped for this movie. I will be completely honest, I've seen the first three Scream movies way back when, and just with seeing Scary Movie and Scream, it just, my memories as a kid, just those two movies blended together. So then I wasn't really getting into Scream 4 or Scream 5 whatsoever. But then after just rewatching all the movies once again earlier this week, I remembered why this movie was so iconic, why this franchise is so brilliant. And with this movie coming out this Friday, this has been one of my most anticipated movie of this month and also this year, along with a whole bunch of other movies coming out in 2023, but that's a whole other topic. Scream 6, I'm so pumped for this one, and just rewatching it, just seeing these movies from 1996 all the way till now, I absolutely love this franchise. And with this video, it's all about Scream 1996. Basically, this movie I feel like revolutionized the horror genre once again. The slasher movie type genre revolutionized it after you had Jason, Freddy, Michael Myers, you've got Chucky, but Hellraiser, and just all these other slasher movies. But this one just reinvented everything with it, even like the commentary throughout the movie too. I just really liked what they did with it. So with Scream 1996, the opening sequence, this is a trend for each movie with the opening kill sequence here. I just loved it. So you open up with Casey's character home alone, and she's making popcorn. She gets a phone call, a mysterious phone call, and just really enjoyed and really had a great time with this opening sequences. Yeah, this iconic open sequences where you've got the phone call with Ghostface. The conversation starts so innocent with the questions that he asks her.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes?
Who is this?
Who are you trying to reach?
What's your favorite scary movie?
I don't know.
You have to have a favorite. What comes to mind?
Halloween. You know, the one with the guy in the white mask.
So, you got a boyfriend?
Why? You want to ask me out on a date?
Maybe.
Asking her about if she has a boyfriend, and then just slowly the conversation just starts taking a turn, escalating, and
Listen, asshole!
No, you listen, you little bitch. You hang up on me again, I'll gut you like a fish, understand?
it's turned into a game where she has to answer trivia questions, especially about horror.
Name the killer in Halloween.
No.
Come on, it's your favorite scary movie, remember?
And she has to answer these questions in order to save her boyfriend's life, who's sitting there tied up in a chair right in front of her in the garden. And that's where you get introduced to Ghostface. He's ripping the guts out of her boyfriend, the chase sequences, and just the way he brutally kills this girl and has her parents find her like tied in the tree was just absolutely gruesome. And I'm gonna say this now, when it comes to Ghostface, his costume, I love Ghostface's outfit, especially the way he maneuvers when you see the cloak just flying about everywhere, the mask. I really love this mask. Nowadays, I'll be completely honest, slasher movies, when you've got like the typical black hoodie and just generic mask, doesn't do it for me. This one I feel like does a great job with it, but I miss the times when you have like Michael Myers in the white mask, Jason Voorhees in the hockey mask, Freddy Krueger in a bloody sweater. Like, I missed those types of like slasher icons there, even Chucky with his little cute outfit too. It's just those types of things make the movie iconic and make that slasher iconic. With this Ghostface, like I said, the way the outfit just flows about when he's running, the way he swiftly maneuvers around like whatever scene he's in, and just the Ghostface mask in itself, I love that. So then you have this opening sequences here, a brilliant start to a movie, might I add, with this sequence here. And now that's where we get introduced to the main star of the franchise, Neve Campbell, Sydney Prescott, and we get introduced to her in her room. We get introduced to her boyfriend, Billy Loomis, and might I add too is that they pay a lot of homage to the Halloween, John Carpenter's Halloween. Billy Loomis, with his last name being the famous Dr. Loomis in the Halloween movie. You also, in the opening sequences here, you've got like the trivia questions about Michael Myers being in the white mask, asking about her favorite horror movie being Halloween with the Knife too. A lot of just like homages to John Carpenter's Halloween. Even in the third act, the final sequences there, you've got Randy and these party people watching John Carpenter's Halloween. So a lot of like homages, references, respects to John Carpenter's Halloween there. So now you've got introduced to Billy Loomis, and you see this relationship dynamic between Sydney and Billy, and they're not really taking the relationship to the next level here, but a lot of like great lines between the two of them. And so then we start seeing Sydney's day-to-day life. She's in the school, you've got these new media outlets there, and that's when we get introduced to another main star of the franchise, Gail Weathers, played by Courtney Cox. And I'm going to say this now, Gail Weathers' character arc from this movie till Scream 5, I really like the way it was developed. She's so unlikable in this movie, and you start getting a bit of like backstory when it comes to Sidney Prescott. They start dropping little hints of like her backstory, her family history. Basically, we come to find out that Gail Weathers wrote a book regarding Sidney Prescott's mother, making up conspiracy theories, spreading rumors about Sidney Prescott's mother, Maureen, and her death. Also, we come to find out that Gail Weathers is actually responsible for helping Sidney Prescott's accused killer, where she accused Cotton Weary of killing her mother. You've come to find out that Gail Weathers is the one that's actually helping prove his innocence. But then you have that little interaction between the two of them. You see Sydney punching Gail right in the face. You have that back and forth with one another there. You also get to see Billy and Sydney with Stu. I'm going to say this right now, Matthew Lillard killed it in this movie. One of my favourite performances of a character in a movie franchise, and I'm going to get to his sequences, especially in the third act. Like, always puts a smile on my face just rewatching his scenes there. But you get introduced to him, you get introduced to his girlfriend and Sydney's best friend there. You also get to see Randy, an iconic character who basically is the fan, the people watching us in the movie in itself. So I loved Randy in this movie. I love Stu in this movie. So you basically get introduced to these characters here. You see the school history background, what people think about Sydney and even her mother too. Basically talking about how Sydney's mother was sort of sleeping around, not being loyal to the husband, not being loyal to the father, having many lovers basically. So a lot of people discussing this here. And then as the movie's progressing here, we then get introduced to Sydney's first interaction with Ghostface. What I really enjoyed about this scene too is that you have that phone call where she's basically explaining what not to do in a horror movie.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Oh, come on, you know I don't watch that shit.
Why not? Too scared?
No, it's just, what's the point? They're all the same. Some stupid killer stalking some big-breasted girl who can't act, who's always running up the stairs when she should be going out the front door. It's insulting.
I love that conversation she has with Ghostface too over the phone, like not taking him serious, basically picking her nose, saying what she's doing there, and then once that seriousness hits, she does everything she said not to do. She runs up the stairs, getting away from Ghostface, trying to call 911 on a computer back in the 90s, which I didn't even know that was a thing, but she calls the police. Ghostface escapes, only for Billy Loomis to coincidentally appear in her window, and that's when he hugs her and drops her phone, and that's when she suspects that it is Billy being Ghostfaced. And the way she like runs out, and that little sequence of Dewey appearing, and Dewey, another icon in this franchise too, and we'll get to Dewey over the next couple of like reviews over the next couple of movies, but with Dewey just appearing and arresting Billy Loomis here. Billy Loomis basically gets off with the suspicion moving towards Sydney's father because of the ominous phone calls that they make, and so Billy Loomis is basically escaping, even though he was just there conveniently, but which we know why. But I just love the way they're building up Billy Loomis. I love the way they're building up who it could be. It's just one of the best things about Scream is that you don't know who it can be. You have your suspicions, you have your guesses until the very final act. So then because of this, basically the school is being closed down, and there's a curfew being in place. We get to see the principal, who's played by Henry Winkler, and we get to see his death scene. But before that, I love, like, once again, paying homages to like horror movies. You just see him going and seeing in the hallway, the corridor, you see the janitor playing by Wes Craven dressed up as Freddy Krueger. Love that little shout out there. And so you get to see him being killed by Ghostface in itself, and that's when the school is like closed. And so then before we get into like the third act, Stu hosting the party due to the store being closed, you just have to talk about that one scene in the video store where you've got Randy and Stu. I just love the back and forth, the interactions between them. You've got them talking about movies, the rules about movies.
There's a formula to it. A very simple formula. Everybody's a suspect.
Stu's just facial expressions and interactions and just lines that he puts out there.
Go out with me.
No, I don't at all.
And then you've got a sneak peek of this killers with you've got Stu and Billy Loomis. Once again, it's going to be in the title anyway here, but this is a spoiler review. So if you haven't seen the movie, Billy and Stu revealed are the killers, but you just see their interactions and the characteristics together as they're like talking to Randy there. And so then we get moved on to the third act, the big third act here, where, as I mentioned, Stu hosting this party because the school is closing. You've got all the characters there. You've got Sidney Prescott, you've got Randy, you've got Stu, even Gail Weathers is attending the party there, and she's placing little hidden cameras everywhere in the party so that her and the cameraman can watch it from the van. You've got Dewey showing up at the party as well. And then we start seeing the killings begin, where you've got honestly one of the most funniest deaths in this movie, where you've got Tatum going to the basement to get beer only for Ghostface to show up, and her lines too that she's giving there, like commentary about horror movies too.
Oh, you want to play psycho killer? Can I be the helpless victim? Okay, let's see. No, please don't kill me, Mr. Ghostface. I want to be in the sequel.
To then her realizing that Ghostface is about to kill her, and her logic is to go through the cat door. Honestly, right now my mind's going blank on what they actually call them, but the thing that cats run through in the garage door. Her logic was to go through that. She gets stuck and ends up getting killed that way in the most brutal fashion. And so then Billy Loomis arrives here, and that's when him and Sidney go upstairs to talk, and to also talk, if you know what I'm saying. They finally start taking their relationship to the next level. Meanwhile, downstairs, you've got, as I mentioned, a party where they're watching Halloween, John Carpenter's Halloween there. And that's when Randy finds out that the principal has been killed. All these people running off to go see, since we come to find out that the principal has been like tied to the flagpole, I believe it was, and so that all these people go running to go see it, go do some messed up things with that, I'm guessing there. But even just before that sequence is there, you have got that brilliant iconic scene with Randy just explaining the rules of a movie.
There are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a horror movie. For instance, number 1, you can never have sex. Big no-no! Big no!
I'm a dead man.
Sex equals death, okay? Number 2, you can never drink or do drugs.
And once again, just Stu's stupidity in terms of his personality, where you're explaining the rules only where Stu just goes around and just takes a piss.
And number 3, never, ever, ever, under any circumstances say, I'll be right back. Because you won't be back.
I'm getting another beer. You want one?
Yeah, sure.
I'll be right back.
And while that is going on too, you've got then Gail and Dewey going around looking for some clues there. They come to see Sidney Prescott's father's car crashed around in the forest, leading to more suspicion that it could be him being the killer. And so then while Sidney and Billy are having this little interaction, great time upstairs, you've got Ghostface now appearing. Ghostface going and killing, air quotes, killing Billy Loomis, stabbing him there, and chasing after Sidney, where Sidney basically escapes by jumping out of the window, landing on a boat that's just parked in the middle of the garage there, because Stu's parents must be very rich to have a boat in the driveway. So she's landing in the boat. And so then Ghostface goes after Randy, and I love Randy's scenes in this movie. So you've got him watching Jamie, telling Jamie to turn around, look behind. So you've got him watching a movie about a slasher, about a killer, while he's about to potentially be killed too, because you've got Ghostface standing right behind him with the knife, him saying to Jamie to turn around. And while even just like doing the research for this review, or coming to find out that his real name is Jamie, so him basically telling Jamie to turn around while his name is Jamie too, I just thought was a really nice twist and what they did with that. And that's when all hell breaks loose with the very final sequences in the movie here. So you've got Ghostface coming there, he's gone and killed the cameraman. Gail tries to escape and she ends up crashing the van in the forest there. You've got Dewey getting stabbed in the back when he's trying to stop Ghostface. And then you've got that chase sequences too, where you've got Ghostface running after Sidney Prescott, and then having that sequence there where she escapes from the police car, tries to go back into the house. You've got Randy and Stu walking up to her, basically pointing to each other that they're being the killer, only for we come to find out that Billy Loomis is alive. She gives Billy the gun which she took from Dewey after he got stabbed, only for Billy to then be revealed as the killer, ends up shooting Randy, and that's when you get this brilliant stroke of dialogue, of sequences of acting, these two together. I feel like we're a match made in heaven. The lines they're delivering, the great chemistry that they have, just Stu as well, his lines that he had talking about Sydney's mother, talking about Gail looking dead, just talking about the peer pressure and his parents' reaction.
Because let's face it, Sydney, your mother was no Sharon Stone. You're gonna carry on and plan the sequel, because let's face it, baby, these days, you gotta have a sequel.
Can't, Billy. Oh, you cut me too deep. I think I'm dying here, man.
Police are on their way. What are you gonna tell them?
Peer pressure.
Fucking hit me with the phone, Dad!
My mom and dad are gonna be so mad.
I really want Stu to come back to the franchise. He was just brilliant in this movie. And then for me, the key aspect too as well is as each movie comes out too, is the motives behind why they are Ghostface. And I really like this motive too with Billy Loomis, because Sydney's mother is essentially the reason why Billy Loomis's family broke up, because Sydney's mother had an affair with Billy Loomis's dad, and so basically that broke up the family. So Billy Loomis obviously wanting revenge here. And what I really like is the just extreme amount of things that they put themselves through to cover up their tracks. You've got Billy and Stu stabbing each other and just going through some brutal extreme lengths so that they can look like they're the victims, and that they're basically going to go try and frame Sydney's father, where they have him locked up in the closet. So as they're proceeding with their plan there, they go to get the gun that they took, only to find out that the gun is missing. And we come to find out that Gail Weathers has come back after crashing from the van, and she's going to try and shoot them, only to find out that the safety's on, so Billy overpowers her. But then Sydney escapes, and I really like that. There's been a lot of people wanting Sydney to be revealed as Ghostface and that kind of stuff. You get a little bit of that in this movie, where she gives Billy Loomis a call talking as Ghostface. She's dressed up as Ghostface, stabbing Billy with the umbrella, only for Stu to have this burst of energy and rugby tackles her. They wrestle, only for the TV to fall onto Stu's face, and this is where I don't think he is dead. I'm hoping and praying that he's still alive. You don't see his body or anything like that after the sequences there, so fingers crossed that he's still alive there, because I really want Stu to come back. Hopefully he comes back in Scream 6. I really want him back. And that's where you get Billy Loomis also having some burst of energy there, only for Sid to then end up shooting him again. And this is what I find very entertaining with these movies, and this will be discussed in each review too, is you always have that one that gets shot, gets stabbed, whatever it is, having this burst of energy come back to just get shot again. For some reason it always cracks me up too, but basically that's the end of the movie in itself, and just a brilliant introduction to the Scream franchise. And obviously they didn't know it was a franchise at first, but I feel like they done such a fantastic job with this movie. A really great iconic slasher movie. Scream in 1996, for what it was done at the time, just opened up a whole can of worms but in a good way. Like I said, revolutionized the slasher franchise once again, did a great job there. I'm really happy with this movie. One of my favorite horror movies, slasher movies, and probably the best one for me in the Scream franchise. So I had a fun time with this movie. Please let me know your thoughts, your opinions down in the comment section below. Let me know what you thought about this movie and your thoughts in terms of the whole Scream franchise. Let me know in the comment section down below. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future videos here. We'll be doing every Scream movie review leading up to Scream 6, so keep an eye out on the channel, subscribe so that you don't miss out on those videos. But this is YK Reviews. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening.